I fell off my jet ski. A rogue wave came out of nowhere, lost control of the ski, and as I fell off, I hit the jet ski before I hit the water.
Would you go back again and say, I'm not going to let this fear conquer me? No way, dude.
I'm so grateful for the fact that I can walk still. How great is that when you're learning from something like that? I was watching a video on Terry Crews, but he was saying, when I first got my first job, and I used to sit there and I think, if I was going to get paid $1 million to do this job, how would I do it?
Do you think at some point some people stop being driven by money? The law of familiarity, right? Like it's what we know, what we used to.
Yeah.
Of course my water's clean.
That's right. You don't think about it until it's dirty and you can't get clean water anywhere. Practice a bit of gratitude from the perspective of what other things in my life do I take for granted.
What are you going to do to remind yourself? How do you continue on this same level of gratitude over and over? Did you know that podcast is actually an abbreviated term?
No, I didn't.
And it actually stands for iPod broadcast.
iPod broadcast?
Yes.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I learned that recently and I said,
we're going to let everyone else know about that.
And that's why we're here doing this iPod broadcast.
I fell off my jet ski on the weekend, last weekend.
Have we not had a podcast since then?
We haven't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so so bit of context for everyone is out enjoying the nice weather, and it was a little bit choppy.
Been bringing it.
Yeah, it has been, and it was a little bit choppy, and just, mind you, first time in 20 years I've fallen off. And when I say fallen off and hurt myself.
Have you had a podcast? Have you had a podcast 20 years? Have you had a jet ski for 20 years?
As in, I've been riding them for that period of time, on and off.
Yeah.
But my first one, I was like 23, 22, somewhere there. 18 years. Shit. Technicality. So the first time I came off and actually hurt myself though, because I've fallen off a couple of times, but always just in the water, back on, cool, let's go. So a rogue wave came out of nowhere, lost control of the ski, and as I fell off, I hit the jet ski before I hit the water. Now, I reckon I've hit the ski at about 40 to 50K. Now, I showed you when I came in the next day, massive bruise on my leg. Like I'm talking the size of a bowling ball. It was purple, like it was all fucked up. Fractured a couple toes as well. So a bit of fun, walking with a limp. And no, I'm actually okay. It's a week later and I feel fine. Like it hurts to touch, but it's not hindering me from doing whatever I want to do. I literally went, just for context, I went to gym on Wednesday. So I did it on Sunday, was at the gym on Wednesday. Didn't do any lower body, but still working out, still worked, everything. The next day I was really sore, still rocked up to work. Something I actually thought about, funny enough, it's like, if I was working for someone, I probably would have taken the day off, had a sickie.
Yeah, I guess
I probably would have taken a couple of days off. Hey, I fell off my jet ski. I've hurt myself. I need a couple of days sick leave.
It's like a green light, right? And you're like, this is what sick leave is for.
That's right. Give myself permission.
I'm not going to get paid out this when I need.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
But you know what? I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to work. I've got shit to do.
Dude, I was that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been that guy too. There was times when I've even woken up and I didn't feel 100%. You know what I mean? Felt 85 or 90%. I'm like, oh, a bit crook. I might take the day off.
Hey, how good is that? Do you recall the feeling of waking up, sitting there like, I'm going to call in sick, and making the call, and then once they're like, all right, cool, I'll see you tomorrow. And then you'll hang up and you're like, yes. And then you go back to sleep.
I used to have a boss that would just tear you to shreds if you took a day off though. So
yes.
Yeah, like that when I was working at Multiplex. But
it was a solid excuse.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah.
Got a headache.
Gastro.
I'm going to come in to everyone.
Yeah, I'm doing this for you.
So anyway, that wasn't what I was thinking. But the one thing I did think also, whilst I had this injury, was for at least 3 to 4 days, I was definitely limping and walking a bit slower. And I was like, how many times before that moment did I look back at my life and go, fuck, how good is it to be walking without any pain?
Why would you? The law of familiarity, right? Like it's what we know, what we used to.
Yeah.
Of course my water's clean.
That's right. You don't think about it until it's dirty and you can't get clean water anywhere. How good were those days back in the day?
Of course I drink filtered water.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So it's even good from a perspective as regrounding myself and go, you know what? Practice a bit of gratitude from the perspective of what other things in my life do I take for granted? Because we do inherently take things for granted.
It's human nature.
Exactly. It's human nature. So I don't think
it's like, this is not going to kill me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to focus on that. What else is?
Yeah. So I did. I was like, cool, man. I can't wait. I'm so grateful for the fact that I can walk still, even though it's in pain. Like, I can still walk.
Yeah, go.
And here's another thing I noticed as I got injured. So there's 3 things I picked up.
What an injury.
Yeah, what an injury. How great is that when you're learning from something like that? The first thing was, if I was working for someone, I would have taken the day off, and probably so would have my employees. But I came to work. I'm like, no, fuck that, working. I've got stuff to do. Second thing was practicing the gratitude as far as, my leg's hurting, it wasn't hurting. And the third thing was, which I think is the most interesting, I've been training, as many of you know, for the last 12 months. I genuinely reckon that had I not been training for the last 12 months and training legs quite hard and built that muscle mass, I reckon I would have broken my leg.
That's massive.
It's a big call. But I think I hit myself hard enough that it would have caused some decent damage. Like on my leg, I reckon I would have fractured, at the very least fractured, maybe not broken, I would have fractured a bone in my body.
Yeah.
But because I've been training so hard.
That's a big bone.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also a big muscle too.
Yeah, yeah.
But I still feel like it was literally on my side. So imagine, just below the hip, that's where I hit it on the leg. But, despite how much it hurt at the time or hurt thereafter, I genuinely believe the fact that I've been building muscle mass over the last 12 months is the reason why I didn't do serious damage and why I reckon I've continued and healed so quickly too.
How did you, so you come off, you went straight into, you hit the thing and went into
so I hit the ski and then hit the water. It's a bit hard to explain, but pretty much the ski went out from under me. I fell off the side. And as I fell into the water, before I hit the water, I hit the ski and then went into the water. Went into the water and instantly, you brace and hold your breath. You're because it's coming. And then went in and came straight out. So that was okay.
In deep water?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, absolutely. I was at least 250 meters from shore.
Okay, so 7-8 meters.
Yeah, as in out. Yeah, I don't know how deep it was. I was from shore. I was down.
But you didn't touch the ground?
No. I was definitely not that shallow. But yeah, hit the water and then the ski went about 20 meters away. So when I got up and actually was like, fuck, I have to swim. But the first thing I was checking, I was like, okay, I got to check my leg. Am I broken? Is everything there?
Did you panic?
No, I was actually pretty cool. I was logical.
No, sharks.
Oh, no, I didn't even think that. Didn't even come to mind. Not even at all. Not even now that you said it, not once has it entered my mind about sharks. But I got in the water and the first thing I thought was, okay, grab my leg that I hit. I'm like, cool, is anything sticking out? Yeah, and literally hand all the way down to the bottom. Cool, everything's there, fingers, toes, all right.
Cool. Move it? Yeah, okay.
And then I kicked and I was like, okay, I can move. So then I was in pain, but then I swam over to the ski, got back on. And there was a couple of guys that were on skis as well that saw me. They came over and said, oh, you're all right? So we saw that.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was good. It's kind of good in that regard. There is a good community in that space as well. There are some good guys.
Similar thing on motorbikes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked out for each other, and I would do the same. There's also plenty of dickheads as well, that.
Especially on skis, yeah.
Yeah, that particular day, there was. It's a shame because it ruins it for everyone that does the right thing, and all that it's going to mean is eventually they're just going to reduce the amount of boating zones there are in. Yeah,
you can't
in those bays.
Get out.
Yeah, that's right. They're just going to reduce and go, cool. All the boats and jet skis are now down the far end of Port Melbourne. You can't come in this area anymore. And it's going to happen, and I understand why, because literally that day, there was probably 6 or 7 skis where we were in Albert Park, and there was at least 3 of them just being dicks. Within the 5-knot zone from shore to about 100 meters out, they're just hammering it and doing donuts, and there's people around, there's kids around. Just go out. It's less than a minute before you go past the boys, and you can go whatever speed you want and do whatever you want, but they do it within that zone. But also in the same token, it's the cops, if I was a copper, if I was on patrol, I would just park myself there all day. It's going down. You're going to catch at least the guys doing the wrong thing.
What's the rule? Is it 50 meters?
It depends with the zones, with the areas.
Yeah.
But some are further out than others. It's about 200 meters from shore.
Yeah, okay.
Is the general rule. It's 5 knots.
Yeah, they should, because it's dangerous, dude. If you're in the water and just your head's out and someone doesn't see you, that will damage you.
Here's another great lesson I learned. It was just a great reminder to go, you know what? This is a machine that I could really hurt myself on, because people have hurt themselves real bad.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Broken ribs, broken heads, lost teeth.
Smashed straight into the water.
That's right. I said,
broken
20 years I haven't had anything.
But
1 year. It just takes one time though. That one time that you really hurt yourself. And that for me, I'm glad it happened to me.
Yeah. And
because
you got to walk away.
Yeah, I got to walk away, limping, but it's all right. I still walked away. Yeah. So that was another good thing to go, reminder, these are dangerous machines. They can be dangerous machines, but so can a car. So is a car. So is a motorbike. They're all dangerous machines, and it's good to to have that healthy respect there for
them. Yeah, I agree. So, but here's the thing though, right? We've spoken about this before remember I shared the story about my car not starting.
Yeah.
And then I was so pumped that my car started. I don't get zero excitement that my car starts.
Well, again,
Yeah, zero
well,
excitement.
there you got a brand new one.
If anything, now I start it when I'm in my apartment. And if I go downstairs and it's not on, I'm angry. You know what I mean? Like, oh, why is this not working? What is this?
My seat is not warm.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's not cranking. Yeah. So what is happening?
Take it back.
So what are you going to do to remind yourself? Like, how do you continue on this same level of gratitude over and over? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, without a doubt it does. But it's got to be a habit. It's got to become a habit where you got to practice that.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Because again, you'll fall
You just
into
need
that
to
same trap.
remind yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so hard.
The other thing I'm really grateful for is like 90% of the time my son's on with me. Not 90, but whenever I'm out, like he's generally on with me too. So I'm so glad it happened without him on it.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause that could have been bad as well.
I'm going to make an assumption here, but I feel like you probably ride differently with your sons. Yeah.
You made the right assumption too. So it is. You're completely right. And chances are I probably wouldn't have put myself, I wouldn't have been going as fast, put it that way.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't, with him on board,
Yeah.
you'd just be a little bit more cautious, I'd assume.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You probably
Without
like
a doubt, I do. Yeah. He's a scale of 1 to 10.
Is it? Yeah.
Like it's pretty good. He's up there.
4.
He's up there.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Just keep reminding yourself.
Well, yeah, I suppose the next time I get on it, there'll be a healthy reminder there. And I think for every other time that I get on it thereafter, they'll be like, oh,
Yeah, but
Just-
dude, I'm telling you, it will fade. I used to do the same thing. I used to have a Ducati 848. And have you ever ridden road bikes?
yeah, I have.
Yeah. So when you first start riding, you're nervous and everything, and then you get used to it and you get cockier and cockier and cockier, and then you come into a corner too hot, and then you just make the corner and your heart's racing, and then you turn into like a bitch again, and all of a sudden you're not willing to do what you were willing to do before, and you pull back. But then the confidence builds up again and again, and then you start to do the same thing, and then you have a close call again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I found I couldn't stop myself from getting cocky again. Do you know what I mean? I would always just, I can do this. Like, no, I've got control. Like, and you don't. You know what I mean? But I would always sell it to myself that I did.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it's easier said than done.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Easier said than done.
I think it'll take a while though for myself at least. You know, because it's, as I said, it hadn't happened in 20 odd years that I've been riding them. And now it was the one time that it's actually come off and hurt.
Just happened. You haven't been back on.
Oh, not since that. Well, only purely, I would have gone on this weekend. It was great weather this weekend. I would have gone on, no issues. If I wasn't, I'm still not 100% healed. So I don't want to push the barrel. But yeah, I've got no fear around it, which is fine. My missus was like, oh no, we're going to sell it now. I'm like, relax. Like, anything's dangerous if you're an idiot.
So the same thing happened. So my cousin's brother-in-law went through a glass wall in Bali on a scooter.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how he did something, went through a wall. And as soon as he went through the wall, everyone was all of a sudden like to my cousin, that's it. No more scooters, that's it. And I'm like, listen, dude, like, you're a fucking adult. Like, you know what I mean? Ride safely.
Yeah.
Don't be a dickhead. But you can't just like, imagine someone has a car accident, died, everyone says, no more cars.
That's right. And it's also, you're letting your fear control you too.
Yeah. It's like, dude, like, are you comfortable riding? Yeah. Do you feel okay doing it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then just be safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go pay attention. Don't sit there on your phone fucking around. Pay attention. Do it safely. And you'll be fine. And then he video called me riding a scooter. And I was like, get fucked.
Yeah. I may have mentioned this story once before, but have you seen the movie Sully? Of course you have. Everyone's seen the movie Sully. I think it's called Sully. Where it's about the aeroplane that landed in the Mississippi River.
Of course. Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. But seen the ads.
Yeah. Okay. So long story short, this aeroplane.
Based on a true story.
It's a true story. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a very true story. Great. It's actually a pretty good movie. Not a bad watch. If you got nothing to do and it comes on,
Sully.
watch it. Sully. I think I'm pretty sure it's called Sully.
Something like that.
So long story short, emergency landing and the pilot.
In the Hudson River.
The Hudson River. Well, yeah, whatever river.
Some
American river. Fucking look it up.
Yeah, Texas. Vegas.
The Murray.
Yeah.
And he had to come in and land the plane on the water. Really traumatic. So everyone survived on the plane. No one died.
How good.
Yeah, absolute hero. Even though he actually got the story goes, the pilot got like taken to court and they were trying to pin it on him when really they ended up coming out and going, he actually saved everyone's life. Otherwise, if he tried to make it to the airport, he would have crashed and burned in a mountain or a city or something. So he made the right call going into the river. Long story short, every single passenger on there, how do you reckon they got home that day? Or the next day?
Plane.
No, not most of them. No, most of them were complete. I don't think anyone except for one guy, everyone else would have driven home or caught a bus or caught a train
like
because they were so terrified of flying.
I get that.
Yeah, I understand. But there was this one guy, he caught a flight and he actually went around the whole of America touring and giving motivational talks around this. He got on a flight that same night, and he was shit scared. But he knew flying is the safest way of transportation. Is one of the safest methods of transportation. Statistically, absolutely. It's just when something bad happens, it's horrific. That's why people often shit themselves in planes.
Dude,
or
you
afraid of
guess
flying.
to see that South Korea thing?
No. But I think I did. No.
Oh man.
Oh, where it goes into the building or whatever.
Yeah,
you were saying
it's much harder. Yeah, much harder to find the footage now. But when it happened, it was new, and I saw the footage straight away. And you could see the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
Plane goes into the wall, blows up.
Yeah,
like the whole thing was caught on camera.
And
it's full. I saw that, and I'm like, that's full on. 2 people survived.
Yeah,
they're sitting at the back of the plane.
Yeah,
guess where this guy sits now?
back of the plane. Yeah, it is. It's actually, I think statistically, it's the safest place.
Sense, yeah.
So, long story short, he got onto a flight that within a few hours, got to shore, got on a flight and went home. And as a result of that, he still flies today. But you fast forward 20, 30 years since that episode, you go and interview all those people and ask them how many of them ever got back on a plane after that. And it's like a very, very small, it's like 3% of the plane got back on a plane after that. And
planes are different.
Yeah, but they all let their fear control them. Whereas this guy went out and goes, no, he was the only one that caught a flight home that night. So no, I'm going to get back on a plane. I'm not going to let this fear control me or the rest of my life or anything it is. I'm going to get back on a plane. He was probably nervous. And how unlucky do you have to be to be in
it's like statistically speaking, you're probably at the safest point. If you're just in a plane that went down, you're probably so safe. Like you're probably odds of it happening are so small. And if it happens, you're just gonna say that's it.
Yeah. So I kind of look at that if ever something bad was to happen, I think I would have the very same mindset. I go, no, cool. This isn't going to control me. Let's get back on the bike.
Yeah, depending on what it is, but
yeah, of course. Because you don't want to put yourself in harm's way if it's statistically.
Dude, same thing with skydiving.
Yeah.
Have you ever been?
I haven't, and I don't actually think I will.
Why?
Why the fuck am I going to get into a plane and actively jump off with the risk of killing myself?
Yeah,
small,
very small.
Actively go there to do that.
Oh, look, definitely crosses your mind.
Yeah, but I don't have the itch to go and do something like that.
Neither did I, but I did it. And
amazing experience.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not life-changing.
I didn't sleep any differently that night.
Yeah.
Slept very differently the night before.
Yeah.
But actually, you know what? I was actually really over it because they cancelled on us a few times.
Yeah. Is that weather conditions?
Yeah. And I called them. I was like, hey guys, great job. Like, if it's not safe, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I also got over it because one time we even drove to Geelong because it was at Barwon Heads. Yeah, we drove all the way there and they're like, oh, you got to be on standby. Let's fucking do some return our breakfast. And then they're like, oh, it's not going to happen. So I drove back home.
Yeah.
So when it was finally happening, I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. It's probably going to cancel. Like until you're up in the plane. And then you're like, oh, this isn't going to get cancelled. Like, I haven't actually gone ahead with it.
Yeah.
And you do get those thoughts though. Like, why the fuck are we doing this? Like, this is a perfectly good plane. Guys, stop mucking around. Just land the plane.
Yeah, that's it.
It's got landing gear.
Great view. Thanks a lot. This was fun. Let's go back.
Let's not be silly.
Yeah.
Let's not be silly.
Whilst you're strapped to another bloke.
My point, you are strapped to another bloke.
Yeah.
My point, but is if you had a skydiving accident and it happens, right? And people survive. And would you go back again and say, I'm not going to let this fear conquer me? No way, dude. I would not. I can honestly say, I probably wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, I could safely say that as well.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying there. But then if it was something I had, maybe I should change that. If it was something I had to do again. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't let, like, say if it was driving, for example, horrific car accident.
Oh, dude, I know
Or-
people
or
that
stuff
don't
like that.
drive.
Yeah.
I used to have a
But for that reason,
hairdresser that had a horrific accident
Yeah.
and was not willing to drive anymore. They would jump in a car, but they weren't willing to put themselves at the wheel.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was young. I was like, okay, that's different.
yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, I definitely wouldn't do it if it was skydiving.
Yeah. I'm
Or-
sure there's definitely some stuff there.
No way. Yeah, so you get back on the ski, no problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think twice. Wouldn't think twice. As I said, I'd be a little bit more sensible in choppy weather, I guess. But even other things, like I've been on the Murray doing 120 k's an hour. Come off on 120 k an hour, like that's.
Oh, you came off?
No, I'm saying you did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's probably other people in the opposite direction doing that as well. Like imagine, like you can cause some serious damage in things. Like you're taking risks. You're increasing your risk probability of.
Everything is.
Everything is. That's right.
No
You
worries.
risk nothing, you risk everything.
What's your favorite TV show?
Oh, good.
Of all time?
Oh, wow. I don't know, dude.
Iggy's ears perked up. But
Of all time.
of all time.
I don't know. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I mean, Game of Thrones was good.
Do you watch that stuff?
I watch all the stuff.
Dragons and
And fairies and leprechauns and
some
unicorns too.
interesting.
I'd say that's one of the good ones.
I think the greatest show of all time, in my opinion, as a man who watches so much TV, is Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I haven't. Not a single episode.
Because I just remembered the two planes crashing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that when you said the jet ski thing. You haven't seen Breaking
Not
Bad?
a single episode. But it's like something that, again, it's probably on my saved Netflix list.
So is
that I just haven't ever watched it.
So is Super Pumped.
That one, absolutely it is. You need to give me your login passwords.
Yeah, I haven't watched
You
it.
need to give me your login passwords. Maybe I'll watch it on the way to Vegas.
Got a TV in my office.
Ah, sick.
I'll watch it
I'll
every
bring
night.
I'll bring a chair.
Bring the popcorn. I'll watch an episode a night.
Hey,
We'll
good.
finish in a week.
Hey, hey, good's $1 Million Day studio, by the way.
You know what's really good?
Setup was really good today.
We can talk about this cloth and how good this cloth is, but also how quick the episode's going to come out. Like this will air next week.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about. Do you watch
Current
Australian
affairs.
Open?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of Djokovic retiring?
He is by far the absolute GOAT.
Oh,
By far, he deserves all the accolade. He deserves all the criticism
oh,
because he's the fucking best. And no one can say shit about it. And it's fucking stereotypical of Australians to boo him, to try and bring someone down.
so you
when
are
they're at the
pro?
top. I am pro him like you wouldn't believe. Good on him. I want him to win for the next fucking 30 years. All right. I want the best person to win.
I
I've never been a huge underdog type guy. I want the little guy to win. Like, fuck you. Go do another 10 years until you're good enough and then you can win.
That's
Or you
interesting.
might be good now. But I want the best person to
So
win.
what did you think of his semi-final retirement?
Well, he was injured. The guy was genuinely injured.
So why
The
didn't you
reason
let
people were
the other
pissed-
guy play?
Sorry?
Why didn't you let the other guy play?
What do you mean?
The guy who he won just before in the quarterfinals?
But he beat him.
Yeah, so but what's the point of beating him and then retiring after one set?
Well, probably an extra 250 grand, first of all.
That guy doesn't need money,
Who
dude.
gives a fuck? It's my money. Why do I want to give it to someone else? You can't beat me injured. You don't deserve to be in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but he got injured beating him.
You can't beat me with one fucking leg. You don't deserve to be in the
So
quarters.
if you paid to go to that,
Yep.
wouldn't you be shitty?
It's part of the game, isn't it?
No, tennis is the gayest sport ever.
Okay, let it be gay, but
Yeah.
that's a possibility that someone rolls their ankle.
But this
Or
guy
someone-
didn't roll his ankle.
Okay, regardless, I'm sure he went in there with the intention
So
of
you
trying to
think
get
he was
through.
okay?
What do you mean?
Actually, I think he's a fantastic athlete.
Yeah,
I think he's a
without a doubt.
very good athlete. The guy seems like a dick.
You don't know him to say that.
I don't know. It just
You're
seems
just
like-
based off what
It seems
we
like.
can see. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and that's what everyone says. Oh, he's a dick. You don't know the bloke. I reckon he's probably the loveliest guy on the planet.
Nah.
Nah. Well, it'd be interesting. What do you guys think?
So you're
a
a
big guy?
fan,
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I think Djokovic is the GOAT. And mate,
I
you're
think he-
welcome on the podcast. We can have a chat.
Definitely a great tennis player.
Yeah, but I don't mind. Look, with what he's accomplished over the years, there's a level of arrogance that's allowed. All right, there's a level of, hey, like this is, like, they say fuck you money. What's this fuck you tennis? I'm paved the way. I've won everything more than once.
What about he's won the most Grand Slams. But what about the fact that he didn't, in the quarterfinals, wasn't willing to have a thing at the end? Just went on the mic. Did you say?
Oh, because, look, as I said, he's probably having a bit of a sook in that regard.
Yeah, I think.
But again,
dude, like, you are this.
yeah.
Like, come on, man. You're letting some guys who make
On Channel 9. Yeah, that's right.
in the crowd get to you.
Oh, you're saying the crowd? Or you're saying with the comments from the Channel 9 commentator, what's his name? You talking about that? How he didn't come.
He didn't
do the interview because of what a Channel 9 interview person said. That's why he didn't do the interview.
Is that why he didn't do
Because, I can't remember the guy's name. I'll know it when you say it.
They also said,
he made comments. Yeah, he made comments, and then he was bagging Djokovic and the fans, saying he was a washed up, he was a has-been, blah, blah. It was tongue-in-cheek, but he didn't take it that way. And it's like, cool. Yeah, well, in that instance, he probably did. But again, think about now, whenever people, it's been happening for the last year. Do you know when it happened, ever since it's happened? Yeah. Since the time he came to Australia during COVID, the whole vaccine thing. Then people jumped off the bandwagon then. Yeah, people started to do that. But I also think it's because he kept winning and people going,
man, no one ever thought that way about Federer or Nadal. You know what I mean? Like, they never thought, you know what I mean? Or even someone who can be a prick, like Kyrgios. Dude, a great tennis player, but like his attitude towards the way he does everything.
Yeah,
and, you know what?
I reckon now it's because Kyrgios is probably more entertaining. But, people hated Kyrgios at the start. They thought he was a brat. They calling him this. But he's no different to what he was back then.
Yeah, but I guess he's
just branded himself very well, become the bad boy of tennis. And I think his branding's been probably helped him get to where he is more so. Because when he's got all the social stuff, he then started to do jokes with people. He became mates with Djokovic. They used to be enemies. He's made it less gentleman-like, the sport. And he's probably the only one to do it since McEnroe.
Yeah, tennis is the rich kids' sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you need a one-on-one coach.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot to it. And to be the best, like, you look at a lot of people that play, even that are in the top 100 tennis players in the world, not a lot of them make, money that they're going to be able to retire off. They pretty much cover their expenses for the year because they've got to pay for travel and all these 101 other things. I don't think
you don't reckon they may get paid well?
No, they get paid well, but I think by the time, because they'll have to pay for all the coaches, the training, the flights, the accommodation, all that sort of stuff. I think it's not as beneficial as it might be unless you're a top, 20 player. You got to be winning matches. If you're just getting out in the first round,
performance sport, of course.
That's right. So if you're getting out in the first round every Open,
well, then you don't take
every comp. Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. But you're still in the top 100 players in the world.
Yeah, but you'd think if you're just losing every first match, you're not going to be there for long.
Some of them stick around.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think that girl that won the Open.
How much can they make?
Oh, I don't know. I looked it up when I was there during the tennis. Actually, what some of them went. We spoke about it the other week as well.
Women, so I got the women's pay.
Yeah, they all get paid the same. It's a sliding scale.
For winning the
They get paid more for each match that they win. For each round that they get through, they get paid a little bit more.
Yeah. I was actually quite surprised when I saw what some UFC fighters in. Like,
not enough?
Yeah.
But similar thing.
You'd think.
Again, top 100 in their field, you'd think they'd be all right.
What? I'm talking about number ones.
Oh, you're saying the top of the top?
Yeah. Like, for example.
Well, that's what's been the conversation for so many years now.
Like Islam Makhachev, right?
Yeah.
Pound for pound, number one in the world, number one lightweight, has only lost once. I think his record's 20-something wins and one loss. And he's on like the longest active win streak ever and took a title fight. The person he was supposed to fight pulled out last second.
Yep.
So he took a title fight against someone else. I think he made 250 grand. And it's like, this is the person at the top of their game. Like, that's not...
Well, that's been the criticism of the UFC for a very long time, that they're underpaying their sportsmen.
It's also the highest paying MMA Like if you're the highest paying MMA,
Yeah, but you look at say
Sport.
boxing, and that's why you see McGregor and who was it, Tyrone Woodley, all these guys going out. Nwangu, what's it?
Ngannou.
Ngannou. They all go.
Nwangu.
Hey, tomato.
Yeah, very close.
Very close. They all go out and do a boxing stint because they're going to make a 20 mil hit in one go.
I looked into that, and apparently the whole thing around boxing, Dana White said this. He goes, boxing do this. He goes, they set up an event. He goes, and they go and they raise all this money for the event, like it's the last event they're ever going to do, because then they spend all the money. He goes, they don't have an ongoing consistent, and he's right. You don't know when the next boxing match is going to, like, there's no boxing every Saturday.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? He's like, they
don't reinvest.
They don't reinvest in the business. He goes, we're putting a pay-per-view on every single month. He goes, we've got, and dude, you can't take it away from him. The guy bought a $2 million business, sold it for $4 billion.
Yeah.
Within a 20-year time span, which is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
Let's get him on a podcast.
Very, very, very few people have done that. You know what I mean? I was reading this thing the other day. Google bought YouTube in 2006 for $1.65 billion. In 2024, YouTube makes $1.65 billion of revenue in 3 weeks. And it's like, that's very cool. Less than 20 years. And you're making what you bought it for in weeks, every week.
Had this question put to me on the weekend. How much is enough money for you to be like, okay, I can't spend this much?
Do you think, are you asking me the question?
Yeah.
Okay. I think when you say spend,
You just like, it just keeps accumulating. It's not going south. It's always just going north. And you're like, fuck, there's only so many dinners. There's only so many times I get cars.
It'd be very difficult to spend like, 5 to 10 million. I think that would be very hard to spend.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think you like, if you want to spend 5 million, you got to spend 400K a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you going to spend 100K a week? Like, I haven't even spent $1,000 this week.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? How are you going to spend 100 of that?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
You'll probably do a couple of big purchases here and there, but you're right. It's saying, over the course of the year,
cost of living goes up to 20 grand a week. How are you spending 80 grand a week?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Even if you ate out at the best restaurants and did that, what are you doing? Like, do you know what I mean? You'd have to be catching private jets and consistently. And
you're trying to do it.
Yeah. And it's like, do you really need to? And how much are you on the go? And like, it'd be hard to spend that money. Like, you get over it.
Absolutely. I've heard that from a lot of wealthy people saying that same thing, that exact same thing. They're like, it gets to a point where you buy that. So buying the Ferrari, buying the Lambo, buying the Porsche, whatever it is.
Yeah.
When you buy the very first one, it's like the best thing ever for like the first month, week, year,
like
whatever.
The first time you get a big paycheck.
Yeah. It's the
unbelievable
accumulation. What I think it represents is it's the accumulation of all the hard work, years and sacrifice and risk that you've put in has now paid off in that purchase for you to get into a position to buy that car and go, okay, I've got everything else sorted. Now I'm going to go spend a luxury that I don't really need and I can buy it and it doesn't hurt and this is great. I think it's what it represents in that moment.
No, I don't think that's it.
But then that moment goes away and then it becomes another car.
But I'll tell you why I don't think that's it. Because even if you didn't feel like you'd earned the Ferrari, it would still be a sweet.
Yeah, especially if you like it, like if it's genuinely a passion of you wanting to buy it.
Or someone, like, you know what, you're not even going to buy it, just, hey, have my Ferrari for the weekend.
Yes.
Like, that would be, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That would be just as good or close to as good of getting your own.
You think so? I don't think so.
It'd be fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have it for the weekend, but I'd still want it. Okay, here's Monday. Here we go.
Yeah, I know, but like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, the level of enjoyment is going to be
the actual enjoyment. Yeah, but eventually it's going to get to the point where you're going to wake up in the morning and go, tick, get in the car, you're going to start it, go to work.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to become nothing. And then it'll get to a point again, your money's going to keep accumulating and you go, oh, I'm going to go buy a Lambo today. What color? Oh, what have you got? Oh, I've only got red in stock today. Oh, okay, I'll take that. I'll just go to Porsche on my way home. I'll go to Porsche, I'll get one of those too because I haven't got one of those yet. And then it just gets to a point where it's like, oh,
what's next?
Yeah, they don't become, it's not as amazing as probably you make it out to be, because it's like, okay, getting in your own car now. You know, how many people would look at that and go, wow, fuck, I'd love to have that car. I'd give anything to have that car to drive around. But you get in it every single day and you don't think you're pissed if it's not on when you get down to the basement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
It becomes people's norm. And that's where,
is there anything in life where it lasts?
with,
Because you could say the same thing about anything. Like, I know people who are dying to have a kid, and I can guarantee you they would go home some days and just be like, oh, shut the fuck, shh.
yeah, be quiet.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, you're dying for that kid. And now that kid's here, and now you're saying shush. Or you're dying for that car, or you're dying for that chick, or that money.
It comes back to what we're saying, doesn't it? About we become
complacent.
Yeah, we get used to the norm. I used to think that about my old office. I remember when I first got my office, when I first started my business, you know, sick, whatever it was, half a year in, and then made a commitment and got an office. And how excited and pumped I was to go to the office every single day. I used to love it. I used to love walking down the hallway, opening the door and go, oh, how sick's this? And then it's like end of last year, I'm like, oh, I want a new office. I'm over this place. And got a new office. We're in a new office now. We've got our own podcast studio. And the other day I was like, when I first moved in here, I was like pretty pumped. I'm still pumped. It's still cool that we've got a nice place that we're operating out of. Sorry?
It's work now.
It's work now.
Yeah.
It's already gotten normal for me. Like
mad, like crazy man today.
Yeah, same. And I was like, cool, it's gotten back to the normal aspect of me being in the space. It becomes, okay, well, of course I've got an office. Why wouldn't I? Worked hard for it.
So what's next? Because, dude, like, there is no one thing you can do where the feeling lasts forever, in my opinion. Like,
perhaps it can be a similar thing, but I don't know, do you have to reinvent yourself or reinvent that thing and make it that little bit different?
You know, the other day, I was watching UFC and I put a multi on. All right, I put $50 on 2 fights. And I guessed how they were going to win and when they were going to win. So, like, by points in a round or knockout round 3. 2 fights only. That 50 turned into $1,150. Yeah. $1,100 is not going to change anyone's life in any dramatic way. I was over the moon.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so pumped. I felt on top of the world. Man. I was like, and then I'm like, what's this feeling? Like, nothing could bother me. Nothing. They're like, hey, this just happened. I'm like, it's fine.
$1,100.
This couches are full. They're just for free. Who cares? And then I'm like, what is it? Because, like, the reality is I could afford those couches. Why is this feeding into a part? And it's like, how do I feed this more? Do you know what I mean? And I was trying to work that out, dude. Because I was like, how do you hang on to this feeling? And then here's another thing. I saw this post by Lex Friedman. Do you follow Lex Friedman? You know who Lex Friedman is? You do. If you saw him, you'd know. Been on the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
If you saw him, you'd know. He put up a thing yesterday saying, I'm feeling lost.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to read it because I can't. I don't have Instagram. I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling lost. And when I feel lost, I'm sitting outside 7-Eleven and, oh, dude, sick.
Follow him. I didn't follow him.
Yeah. Feeling lonely. Just one of those nights. I'm sitting outside 7-Eleven at 2 a.m. like old times, listening to music, trying to figure out what it's all about. Silly brain is stuck feeling low tonight. Even though I know life is so fucking beautiful, these nights make the happy ones that much sweeter. I wouldn't have it any other way. If you're feeling low, hang on, we're in this together. You know what I mean? And I saw that and I was like, he's right, dude. Because, like, without the shitty moments, you can't have the highs.
100%.
Like, you just can't. It's impossible. You know what I mean? And then I was like, did I enjoy that bet so much because I've lost so much? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all the L's that you've taken and then you hit this and you're like, yeah, I'm going to make a MMA betting pay. Give tits out. Yeah, I don't know. And it was like, it was a sick feeling. And it was like, what's the feeling here? Like, because I could have made $1,100 in the business and been like, so it wasn't the money, but it was the winning.
I think it's the winning.
Yeah, it's winning.
Because I think about that even with our projects. When we win a job, I get pumped.
Yeah. But if you were winning a project every single thing, you'd only get bummed when you broke a record, or you know what I mean? Because then it's like that's new progress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's winning.
It's the winning.
Yeah. And it's like that gives you that feeling. What's the amount of money for you? Same question you asked me. Mine was annually, by the way. I was saying 5
Yeah. Be there about.
This is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Like 5 mils, 400K a month.
Yeah.
It's like significant. 100K a week. How?
Yeah.
What are you
like
doing?
net.
Yeah. What are you doing? Like, how are you spending it?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I reckon it's around that sort of figure too. But then it's like, am I playing small? I don't want to limit myself and play small, but it's still, as you said, like you're comfortably, when you're hitting that mark, I reckon you're comfortably making moves on a lot of things.
Yeah, no, but also, like, if I was taking home 100K a week,
Yeah.
and someone came up to me and said, "You're playing small," I'd spit on it. Like, do you know what I mean? Because,
But who?
do you think, well, most of the time, people, like, no
Who
one
would say it to you?
Huh?
Who's saying, who says that to you if you're playing small? Like
I
if
bet-
you had a Hormozy come up to you or GC going, 100 grand a week, that's cute. I remember my first job.
Yeah. Do you reckon? I don't think Hormozy would say that.
No, I'm just saying from the perspective. No, I don't think so either. I think it would be like, yeah, good on you. That's sick.
You're like, yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
He seems like a very dry.
We'll soon find out.
Yeah,
We're
he's
soon going to find out.
Oh, wait.
You going to ask him a question?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, can you give me a hug?
He'll put you on his shoulder.
Can you? Yeah.
It is massive kill you.
Am I going to ask him a question?
Yeah. So we're going to have an opportunity to have a chat with him. What question would you ask him? Because I thought about that too. It's like, well, what do I really want to ask? I feel that a lot of the questions I ask, I already know the answer to.
Yeah, you know what I'd ask him? 2 things. 1, you know how people don't value what's free? I would say, you know that. Like, that's human psychology. We inherently undervalue what we haven't earned. And, you know, you pay attention.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you not charging people for the stuff you're giving away for free?
Oh, how good, what a story that'll be. Is like, you should tell the story about how you had your credit card ready when you did that book launch.
Oh, dude.
You should say that.
I was like, and I was like, hurry the fuck up. Like,
yeah, right, you had it there. You're like, what am I paying?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm going to pay $5,000. Let's fucking go. And you gave it all for free.
Yeah.
I lost my mind. You can say that.
Dude, my
Right,
brother would have went through all. No line.
And you're like,
free. I couldn't believe
how
it.
good's that? But you would have paid $5,000.
I was ready to
And I reckon probably 30% of the people watching would have done the same.
Yeah, he had thousands and thousands of
Thousands
people.
upon thousands. So did he miss an opportunity in that instance to go, well, look, even for in the future, say he does another one. Everyone's going to get ready and watch it. Like,
I don't know.
I'm going to leave my credit card here
What's the opportunity? If you're saying, did he miss an opportunity? What?
to make the sales because now it's like, if he does another one of that, you're probably not going to have your credit card ready.
Yeah, but
Like, oh, he's going to give this away for free anyway.
yeah, but you'd be silly.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Like to do the same thing
Oh,
twice.
whatever.
But in his aspect,
But from now the perspective, I know he's saying give so much value, and then ask for something.
his thing is don't ask.
Ever let them come?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we did.
Yeah, well, when we were going to buy these tickets, you're like, oi, remember?
Yeah.
Like, it's not cheap. And I said, and then you said this to me, exact words. Do you feel like you've gotten, and it was about $8,000.
Mm.
Do you feel like you've gotten around $8,000 worth of value from him? And I said, yeah. And he said, all right, that's it. Let's just pay the bill and go. It's like, okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. I have almost indirectly through your actions as well, because you've sold tickets using his. You've sold products as a result of his strategies in my campaigns.
Yeah. And he's definitely had a solid impact from that aspect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll either ask him that. That's one question. Or the other question is, why don't you have a school group? Like you teach people to go and create a school group and get people in and create, you know what I mean? That whole community thing. And it's like, why are you not doing that? And I worry that his answer will be, I have a school group. It's called school.
The whole thing.
Yeah. And then I'd be like, oh.
So you bring your pillow just so you can throw it up against the wall.
Again. Where's my credit card? Yeah, there are 2 questions I'd ask him. What would you ask him?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Because as I said, I know it's like when you deep dive and you do so much research, and not only just research, but also self-development stuff. It's like, you know the answer, it's just execution.
Yeah,
I kind of
know what I need
kind
to
of
do.
feel like that. It's
I
like if I was to
wouldn't
ask him,
ask
how
him
am I going to
anything about
scale?
business.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because I feel like he teaches all that. Like
But
the answers are
that's
there.
right. The answers are there. I probably know, like when he says it, it's not going to be like, oh, what? Like, how did I not know that? I should have been doing this.
Yeah, that's going to be sick.
I almost want to kind of give him what we're doing within the whole ad space. Maybe it'd be a structure thing with, say, the consulting work, because he's doing a bit of that now. With selling tickets to events and building that aspect on, like the online training type thing. How do I blow that up? But again, I kind of know the answer already. It's more execution now for me.
And I also think it's more, as we get deeper and deeper into everything, I feel like it's more, even with this podcast, I feel like it's more just like, you need to do the reps.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've said that a million times, but like, and it's like, we need, well, 1,000,000, is that it? Like, you need to say it 100 million times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to do it repetition over and over and just keep going and going and going. And I think that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I was having a similar conversation with someone today, and it's like, you're just going to keep growing. It's just going to pay off. It's going to pay off. Self-awareness, we've spoken about that before. I think that's important to have. Making sure that, your efforts aren't just, they're not going in the right direction. It's got to get to a point where you go, well, is this worth it? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going in the right direction by doing all this work?
What moves the needle?
Yeah.
For you?
What moves it? Why do I do this?
No. Like, what is the action that you need to take for whatever it is that you want that moves the needle? If you want to make more money, what are the things that make you more money? If you want some of your time back, what are the things you're going to do now that are going to allow you to have more time next week, you know what I mean? And it's like understanding, like, for self-awareness, understanding and focusing on those particular things.
Yeah.
Not fucking, oh man, my life's hard and I never have time, but all you're doing is like money making stuff. And then it's like, you don't, like, if you want more time, making more money right now is not the thing. Or it might be, like, but it's about understanding what you want and where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What made you ask the money question?
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, I had the conversation on the weekend.
What was?
So one of my friends who's done quite well for himself, and we've spoken about him before in the past, he brought it up to me. And he's like, this is what I'm thinking. This is where I'm at. He goes, how good would it be if I wanted to make $1 million like profit a month? What does that look like? How do I need to do that? And he's got a very good business now. He's built it up from the ground up, done very, very well for himself, multi-million-dollar business, making good coin. Out of all of our friendship group, he's killing it, the most. And I was like, cool, like, this is what I think, this is where I see. But he brought that idea in my head. He's like, oh, $1 million a month. Like, how could I spend $1 million a month? That's what he said to me. Okay, how could I spend it? I don't even know, but that's what I want to do. Okay, cool. Like, what things do you need to put in place in order to get to that level? And he's like, oh, this. I'm thinking about this, thinking about that. Okay, cool. That's where the question came from.
At what point, do you think at some point some people stop being driven by money?
Yeah. Because if it's just there every single day and they don't need to do anything.
I was having a discussion.
It has to. Those people that are making hundreds of millions of dollars a week, a month, whatever, it's like, you're not driven by money anymore.
Do you think Elon Musk is driven by
Yeah,
money?
that's exactly right. You go to him and say, oi, fold up that tripod and I'll give you $100 million. You'd be like, no, I'll double it.
To not talk to me ever again.
Exactly.
So you don't believe he's driven by money?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think
100%.
And I think it gets to like that for a lot of people.
I think he could not. He has zero. He could not spend that money if he tried.
Yeah, but people couldn't influence. That's why he's a powerful person. People can't influence him either. He influences countries. Now he does. Fuck, he's influencing the most one of the most powerful countries in the world. Well, the most. It's like no chance of people like that. And I know there would be people out there that just wouldn't be influenced by money.
I think at some point, it only buys you a certain, because money is just, when you don't have money initially is almost like power, because it gives you the ability to do
still is.
but up to a certain point.
With what? Well, how so?
Like you might not be, once you're at 10 billion or something, like it's not going to do anything past that.
Faster?
Past that. Like, do you think someone who has 80 billion and someone who has 10 billion live very different lives?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think so.
No.
You know what I mean? Maybe someone who has 20 million and someone who has 20 billion, yes. But like, I think once you passed, and I could be wrong, but I think once you pass a certain point, there might be stuff we don't know about yet. Once you pass a certain point, it just doesn't, it doesn't do anything anymore. It's like, don't even know how to get rid of this.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way. But I mean, it's taking up space. Yeah, I was having that conversation with someone before. Someone from your team, actually.
Hello.
Yeah.
Let me know later. Might put him on the chopping block.
Hopefully they're listening to this. Because they were adamant that Elon Musk is money hungry. And I was like, dude, wake up. Wake the fuck up.
Again, probably talking to someone who doesn't have money.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And when I say doesn't have money, in relative
Like,
terms.
yeah, wealth.
Yeah.
Like a highly.
You're not talking about a person, put it this way,
Yeah,
if they had money, I'm sure they wouldn't be working for. If they had that level of money, they wouldn't be working here.
So do you think Hormozy is money driven?
I reckon there is a level of it at the moment because he wants to make $1 billion and document his journey.
Yeah, but do you think he wants to make $1 billion because he wants $1 billion? Or do you think he wants to make $1 billion because I think, dude, I've been watching a lot of his stuff. I think he is a freak. Like in the sense of all he does is work.
Yeah.
And he says that. He says, all I do is work. Like people don't get it. Like I love the game. And I think he's just experienced way more than most people do by his age.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, like way more. And he's walked the path and he's like, I'm so good at this.
Yeah.
I've put in enough reps experience that I can. And it's like, do you think his life's going to change? Right. Dude, he's the guy who gets on thing and says, do not buy an expensive car. He's like, don't do it. He's like, I'm telling you right now. He's like, I bought a Bentley. He goes, my life didn't change. He goes, at the start, it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. He goes, everything's the same now. He goes, I'm going to pay X amount every single month for this car that has no positive ongoing effect in my life.
That's because he makes it like that too. I reckon because if he genuinely
I would buy a Bentley.
Yeah, but I'm just saying if he genuinely used that love the car, love the way it made him feel.
That's what I'm saying. Like he
or
doesn't
use it as connections with people, like gets in part of the Bentley club and gets to rub shoulders with other people who have businesses that come to acquisition.com that help build his wealth up, you know? Yeah, it could be beneficial to him, but he's chosen as well not to, for it's just a point A to B car for him. So whether he's driving a Bentley or a Hyundai,
Yeah,
to him, it kind of makes no difference.
I'm saying that in the sense of he doesn't seem to be a very, I want more money sort of guy.
Well, it's probably more for him the ability to tick the box and go, hey, let me show you how. Because he always says, I would have loved to have seen Jeff Bezos from his garage all the way to the first bill.
Yeah.
And document that. And he goes, that doesn't exist anywhere. Yeah, he could probably sit there on an interview show, come on $1 Million Days, talk about it, but he can't actually see it anywhere. Whereas Hormozy, he goes, you guys are going to be able to watch me from the time I sold acquisition.com, Gym Launch, to building acquisition.com to be worth $1 billion.
What's driving him though?
Probably maybe getting to the journey of getting to that point and documenting that journey and showing that he can do it. Perhaps that's what's driving him in that space now. Maybe that's a question I'll ask him. What's driving you? But he says he loves it. That's going to help too. But he's sacrificing other things, like things that you would think that aren't normal, like having a dog, having kids. Like he's sacrificing all that stuff because no, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. This is the path we want to take.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
It is a trade-off. Some people are not willing to give that trade-off. I would never be willing to give that trade-off. You said to me, look, you're on your path, you'll make a bill, but you can't have kids. Like, what's more important?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, but it's, again, what people want. I've got some friends who I'm actually probably going to price to build their house. They've told me, he goes, man, I just don't want kids because we like our life. We do what we want, when we want, how we want. We just got no ambition to have children. This house is designed for adults. He hasn't put a nursery anywhere. There's no baths in it. Like, this is for us, selfishly. But that's cool. You do you. Whatever makes you happy. Whatever fills your cup. I think when you get to that point where you're like, the money doesn't have anything, because it does get to that point for a lot of people, that's when you need to go, well, what is filling your cup? What actually makes you happy? Money can be a tool to do that. That's what it is. It's just a tool at the end of the day. The actual physical thing doesn't make you happy. The plastic, the coins, they don't make you happy when you touch them, when you see them, when you feel them, smell them, nothing. It's what they do that can make you happy. Oh,
who's smelling money?
I'm sure there's people out there.
Probably.
The tool to use that currency to go and do the things that bring you fulfillment. I reckon that's what's that's what will ultimately drive people. I mean, Musk is, maybe his whole thing is the fact of just getting to Mars.
I reckon it is, yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, he's on that next level. Like, okay, cool. I want to go to Mars.
I believe that, yeah.
I'm going to go and I'm going to die there. Like,
I just
Mars
don't
is
think
mine.
you can be money driven and have that much money and still be money driven. It's like saying you are hungry for food and you've got all this food in front of you and you're full and you still want more food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people say, oh, yeah, but it's greed and it's this, and it's like,
but you're like, no, I don't need any more food.
Yeah, like, how much greed?
Like, I'm full.
Yeah.
Like, I'm up to here. I don't need more food. It's like, no, this is good cake. Okay, I'm sure it's the best cake, but it's not going to taste as good because I'm so fucking full that I'm about to throw up. Like, it could be the exact same thing with the money.
Yeah, I guess the only time you'd want more is if you had a fear of losing it.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't know when your next meal's coming.
Yeah, because then you'd be like, no, keep stashing more. Yeah, keep stashing more. Like, but that guy doesn't feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't feel that at all. He'll go down in history, dude.
Like, without a doubt. He already has. Even if he stopped today.
The greatest ever entrepreneur to walk the planet.
He's created so much change. It's not funny on this world. Like, even just the electric car space movement. See what I mean? He brought that. No one else. No one else was making electric cars before Tesla. Properly.
You know, he bought into Tesla, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But saying, like, no one was ever taking it seriously. You never see any of the car manufacturers.
Still, people aren't taking it seriously.
Yeah, it's taking longer to catch on. Yeah, you said that. My mate bought one. My mate bought one.
Close.
Yeah, he bought the, what's the one you went to look at? Model 3?
Model 3,
Yeah. He got one of those. He likes it.
Yeah, I do. Cool car. Very cool car. Very futuristic car.
It is. You were saying that the other day. There were so many features in that car that aren't on current model vehicles. But you're seeing them starting to creep in as well.
No. It's until you jump in one and drive one and realize, oh, they don't have this. Oh, there's no that. Oh, like there's no mirror. How do you adjust the mirrors? You're like, it's all on the screen. You're like, everything is adjustable through the screen. And then you think, why the fuck's no one else on that? Like, why are we so sold on this little knob thing and the electric thing and the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing. There's nothing in the car. There's 2 joysticks on the steering wheel. That's it.
The new model, they've introduced the indicator. Like an actual indicator that you push up and down. They've updated the Model 3. I saw that the other day.
It's a button, isn't it?
No, they've changed it. They've updated.
Really?
They put an actual.
It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, they got the new model out now. But yeah, he's affected so much change in so many places. PayPal, one of the first payment platforms out there. $1 billion company, its own right.
Must be money driven.
Now it must be money driven.
God, I like Twitter.
Must be. Well, do you know what would drive our audience?
What?
I reckon what would drive our audience would be the knowledge that they want to consume in their day-to-day life. That's why they're listening to this podcast. But a lot of them are listening. But there's also a lot of them that are not subscribed.
You know, towards the end of last year, we did that. Was it the end of last year? Yeah. We did the giveaway.
Yes.
And I had someone reach out and say, hey, I'd love a hat. So we posted it out to them.
Yeah.
And then the other day I get a photo.
Oh,
like, where it's at. Yeah. And I'm like, that's cool.
Very good. You should post it to the Instagram page. With their permission, I guess.
Yes.
I'll do that. Or just do it. Better ask forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, if you're listening and you've enjoyed this episode, you've enjoyed previous episodes, and I'm sure you will enjoy future episodes, make sure you click the red button, subscribe on all of the channels, every single one of them, not just one, all of them, if you really want to change your life. But it helps us grow the channel. It helps us engage with more people. It helps us get the message out there and help you on your journey in business and also in life, because it's not all just numbers, even though it is called $1 Million Days up here on the hat. We're also about creating the positive change in your life.
Yeah.
You know, when we first started this podcast, I reckon there was an element of, no, it's just be about money and business and all that sort of stuff. But we speak so much lifestyle stuff on here.
Dude, I had someone say this to me the other day and they're like, what's $1 million days? And I was like, it started as making $1 million in a day. I said, but I think it's slowly formed into feeling like you made $1 million in a day.
That's right. I want to finish on this. How good. Today, actually, I was watching a video on Terry Crews. You know who he is?
Yeah.
Good guy. Get him on the cast. But he was saying, when I first got my first job, because I used to work security, and I used to sit there and I think, if I was going to get paid $1 million to do this job, how would I do it? Like, how would I do this job? If I was getting paid, if someone said, look, tonight is security night, you were going to get paid $1 million to do this job. Like, how would I do it? And he's like, cool. Like, I'd draw a plan up. I'd calculate my route where I'm going to actually walk. I'd check my flashlight, make sure there's great batteries in it, that they've really recharged, that if they're not charged, I'll have spare batteries. And he started to think about his job like that. Then he goes, my next job. Then I started sweeping floors. He was like, okay, I've got to sweep this whole building. How am I going to sweep? Someone said to me, I'm going to sweep this whole building. I'm going to make $1 million sweeping this. Well, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to make sure the vacuum cleaner's in the right place. I'm going to make sure I've got power everywhere. Make sure the bag's empty. I'm going to empty it after each level. Okay, I'm going to start in this corner, work the way back. Like, he started to think about how he could do that job and that role in an exceptional way for him to so if he made $1 million. And he goes, I started looking at absolutely everything like that in my life, you know, and it got to the point, well, how would I wash my car if someone was paying me $1 million? You know, and then he said everything that followed thereafter, his whole attitude behind things, his whole mindset behind things was, well, how can I do this to the absolute best of my ability because I get paid $1 million? And then eventually he's getting paid millions of dollars to be doing his acting career and everything else that's came to fruition. And I love the whole concept behind that. I think, you know, if you're an employee and a worker right now, if you're looking at your role and what you're doing in business, ask yourself, how would I do this differently if I was getting paid $1 million? Don't forget the fact that you're not getting paid $1 million just for a moment. But if you were, what would you do differently? How would you do it differently? And don't think, oh, I'm going to get a leg up, or my boss is going to get a leg up on me because I'm going to give him so much more value, because you will be surprised at the doors that open up for you.
Also, how much your employer will actually appreciate you, even if you leave or when you're gone, because they'll be like, fuck, like, you know, next guy's not as good or whatever it is. They'll appreciate, there's a level of appreciation there that is hard to explain or replace. Like, you know what I mean? If you make yourself hard to replace, even if they don't appreciate it during the time, the time will come where they'll realize, like, they'll at some point notice.
Let me tell you something. And I can say this because they're probably not going to listen. I'm the first one in the office every day. And even if I'm not, I'm doing something somewhere where I'm the first one there. It could be the gym. It could be on site, whatever it is. Ask me how many times over the last 2 years someone has been in the office before me.
How many?
None.
Zero?
Zero. Forget the fact if I rocked up to work at 8 o'clock, or if I was at home and I came into work at 8. If it was just a normal 9 to 5 work day, or whatever it is, the work day, ask me how many times someone has been in before me. Not once. Now imagine that next week I get to work, 6:30, 7 o'clock, whatever it is, 6 a.m., and there's already someone there working. Imagine the profound effect that would have on me. The first day, I'd be like, oh, you shit the bed? Might give him a bit of cheek. Oh, what are you doing here so early? You miss it. You have a punch on with the missus. She kicked you out. Then the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Imagine it's every day for a whole year. Mate, imagine the profound effect that would have on me. And someone who values someone that does work, that's committed, that loves what they do, all that sort of stuff. When the payroll comes around and it's time to give someone a bonus, guess who's getting it? When it comes time when we're quiet and we have to retain stuff, guess who we're keeping? When there's opportunities for someone to make a little bit more money and say, hey, come here, I want to get you involved in this. The doors that it will open will be phenomenal. Or say, you know what, guys, I'm done. We're selling up the business, but you come over here. I need to speak to you. My mate is over here. I've given you a very good word. Have a chat with him. He's going to look after you. And you're going to make 250 grand a year working for this guy because I've put in a really good word for you. That's the opportunity that you're missing by not giving 110%. Forget what it's like. Do it selfishly for you. That's what they should be doing. They should be doing it selfishly for them. I'm going to work that much harder. In my professional career, when I was working for someone, I was always the first in the office. I was the first one in the office. I made it my fucking business to be in before the bosses. I always got the promotion before everyone else. I was always the last to be let go if there was ever a downturn. I was always the one that got the best projects. Whenever there was a project, George is on that job because I know he's going to deliver the best work. I know I'm going to give him that one because it's easier. I want him to have a cool run where he can come in and just crush it and make us lots of money. That's a hot tip I'd give to absolutely anyone in business right now. And have that mindset. How can I do this job if I was getting paid $1 million? What would I do? If you ask yourself that question and followed suit with Terry Crews, I think you'll just absolutely dominate.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends. I'm sure Robbie's going to tell you to tell someone particularly.
Tell your mother.
Get her onto it because we're all going to have...
That's stuck so well.
Yes, it has. It has, absolutely. Thanks. Tune in next week, guys. And I hope you have
$1 million day. Bye, everybody.
See ya.